Guys, we are here with our very first gun build video, and you're not going to want to miss this video. We're going to be going over 2 builds that are literally going to rip people apart while keeping your wallet intact. So let's talk about it. What's up, guys, and welcome back to the X-Villain Hideout. My name is Ghost. If you guys have never been here before, I'm super excited you guys are here. Today we're going to be going over a gun build video. Many of you have messaged me saying what builds you should be making at a budget cost, intermediate cost, and so forth. So I'm going to start getting into gun building based off of what I currently use. One of my favorite builds right now is the AKM build ever since the 76239 buff. And so we're going to go over those builds. I'm going to go over a super budget option for you guys, and then I'm going to go over what I call the budget beast, and I'm going to explain why. So we're going to get into that shortly. I want you guys to know that I also stream on Twitch Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Feel free to drop by the stream. I'd love to talk to you guys there live, whether it's about builds, whether it's about the game. We're also this weekend going to be doing a Tarkov giveaway, so you're not going to want to miss that. Make sure you go into Twitch and follow for updates. You can also join the Discord. All the links you guys need will be down below, but don't miss that. So I'm going to try to keep this video as short as possible and really just get straight to the build. So if you guys want that build, you can just come and watch the video. There's definitely more Tarkov content on the channel, so if you want to cover other things, definitely go check those out. Okay, so before we get into the new 76239 AKM builds, I want to explain something to you about how to build a weapon. Now, when you first build a weapon, if you want to save the most amount of money, you have to actually search around. I see many people when they first get into the game, including myself when I first started playing, is when you see something somewhere, you just buy it. You don't really like look around for different types of things. What you want to do is you want to check the traders for your weapon. You want to make sure you don't have the weapon from like scabbing or something and you didn't sell, or maybe you're not using it and it's inside of your stash with different attachments. You can always make it bare bones down to the lower receiver and then build from that, so it's a free weapon, and then sell the parts towards your build. And then you can also find it on flea market, usually for cheaper than traders, which is something you definitely want to check. Make sure that's complete. I'll show you how. And then lastly, you want to make sure that you can't barter for it for cheaper, because sometimes barter items, depending on the market and what people are aiming to get, they could be very cheap. And I actually built these with a barter, which I'm going to show you right now. So the very first way that you can do it is you're going to, from the main screen, go to your dealers. We're going to go for the AKM, which means Proper has the AKM. And in here, we're going to see the AKM for, I believe, about 41,000 right here. 41,883. So $42,000 for the 762 bare bones AKM. Then we're going to go to the flea market and we're going to go ahead and look at that same weapon. So we're going to go to weapons. We're going to go to assault rifles, and then we're going to go to the, look at all these AKs. We're going to go to the AKM 762. Okay, flea market takes a little bit to load sometimes. Okay, so the AKM just came up, and you're gonna see things that are red right here. You're gonna see, you know, barters and stuff like that. What you're gonna wanna do is 2 things. The first thing you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna go to the cog, and you're gonna wanna remove bartering offers from here. Then you're going to want to show only functional items. That way your gun actually works and you can buy a complete weapon. Now, the lowest we have it right here is 37,000. So it's not that much cheaper, but it's a little bit cheaper. I think yesterday when I checked, people had them for 33,000. So it's just going to depend on the market. Next, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to check for barters. So what we're going to do is, I already know what a barter's for. A barter's for Tashanka. So we're going to put in beef because it's a can of beef stew. We're going to go to the beef stew, and right now we have them for 7,000. I'm just going to purchase 3 of them because that's what the barter is. It was a little bit cheaper yesterday, but 7,000 is still super cheap. 3. So now that we got 3 Tashankas right here, we're going to go back to Proper, and he's the one who the barter's for. I want to say level 2 is the barter, but we're just going to go down to it. 3 Tashankas, we're going to make a deal, and now we have our AKM for 21,000 rubles. Yesterday I got it for about 17,000, so the build's going to be slightly off, but this is essentially, so we're going to be grabbing this weapon and then we're going to be turning it into this weapon, and let's see what happens. So a couple tips when you go to build a weapon is a couple things you want to do. When you first go and want to build a weapon, you're going to want to go to the weapon, and you're going to want to go ahead and right click it and hit linked search. Now in linked search, this is going to mean that all these weapon parts and mods and ammo are for this weapon. Now, when you want to find a specific part for a weapon, this is how you want to do it. Instead of just searching randomly, this is where you find everything. Now, when you want to start building on that weapon type, you're going to want to do link search, and then you're going to want to go through every single, it takes time, I know sometimes. You're going to want to go through every portion of the weapon and examine all the parts to make sure that when you go into your edit preset and build a weapon, you have those options. So let me show you what I'm talking about. When I go into the weapon and I go to edit preset, which is where you build, now that the weapon's in here, for me to be able to find a part, like say I want to change this sight, see how many options I have? I have all of these options, and if you do this right away, you might not, because you haven't examined them all. So now that I've examined them all, now I have an option to do literally whatever I want to do for that site. Okay, so I'm actually going to use this screen to show you guys the different parts, because I want you guys to see what they actually do and why we're choosing these parts. Lastly, before we get into the budget build, I want you to understand what I mean by budget build. What I mean by budget build is this is going to be the best build for your budget pricing. I don't mean cheap. I think a lot of times people think budget means cheap. In essence, it means cheaper. So in other words, for all of the in-slot items that are usually meta, so the things that everybody runs when they run meta weapons, sometimes those are way more expensive than they need to be for the stats they're giving you. So if something is like 30,000 more rubles to give you 1% more vertical recoil, is it really worth it? I don't know. It's up to you guys. If you have the money, sure, but these budget builds sometimes are still really good builds, or just a little bit cheaper. So the first part of the build, we're going to be going over the compensator, which is going to be the Spike Tactical Dynacomp Muzzle Breaking Compensator. So this is going to give you negative 8% recoil for vertical, and it's going to give you negative 2 ergonomics. Now, the other thing I want to say is, since we are doing like an automatic AKM build, I'm not going to be really focusing on ergo as much as I'm going to be focusing on vertical recoil. We want to get that recoil really low, because that's going to give us the most effective outcome for an automatic weapon like the AKM. That way you can use it for both. And we'll go ahead and check every item. That one's going to be 2782, so 3,000 for mechanic level 3. And then how you we check every single item on here is going to be that way. Next, for this build, we're going to be running the RK3 Zenit pistol grip. That is going to give us plus 13 ergonomics. Now, I have seen budget builds not using this, and I don't know why. This is a very, very huge buy. Probably one of the biggest buys on this build. So make sure you don't cheap out on the pistol grip and you go with this RK3. You're going to be able to grab this from Skier level 3 for about 9,000 rubles. So we're going to be going with this build with the Bastion. I prefer the Bastion than the TTO1 little knob or little thing that you put right here for the sight, where you can put another sight on, and I'll tell you why. So when you use a Bastion, not only do they end up coming to about the same stats running the other way, and about the same price, but the Bastion, you have way more options for what you want to run. So the TTO1 allows you, and I'm just going to show you what it looks like real quick so you know what I'm talking about. That's going to be this little tab. Let me pull this off. It's going to be this little tab that you put on the weapon so that you can run a sight. But your sight options are limited, and even though I run the PK06 on pretty much all of my builds, it's like a $40,000 red dot. So I definitely wouldn't recommend that for a budget build, because there's other dots, even like this Trigicon SRS. I think it's about 20K. You can slap this on there and you can run that, but you're very, very limited for the stats and price. So we're going to keep on the Bastion, which is about 6,000 rubles from Skier level 3. And that's going to give you plus 5 ergo. And then we're going to click on the sight that I added, which is the Cobra EKP. That is about 9,000 rubles as well. And this is going to give you negative 1 recoil and negative 6 ergo, giving you about total, I think, negative 1 ergo, negative 1 recoil. So for the stock, we're going to go ahead and not cheap out. And we are going to go with the Ishmash Polymer AK-74 stock, the black one. And now I know many of you are going to comment this. I'm letting you know ahead of time why I'm doing it. You're going to click on the budget one and you're going to go, well, why don't you just leave this one right here, this old beat up wooden one, because it's negative 37 plus 2 on the stats, and this is only negative 38 plus 3. It's slightly better, so you can actually get it for 2193 from proper level 4. So if you have that available and you can spend the extra 3,000 rubles, I would go for this, because you do get a little bit better stats. Anyways, you're going to use that, and then you're going to run the rubber pad on the end of the stock for a -5 recoil and a +1 ergo. And then you're going to run that pad. It's going to be 34.25, and you're going to get that from proper level 4 as well. So you could just buy them both, and then you'll have that set up. The next piece we're going to grab is you're going to grab the charging handle, and you're going to grab the RP01 charge handle, and that's going to give you +1 ergo. The charging handle is going to be about 3,000 rubles from skier level 3, I believe. Then we're going to go to your handguard, which sits on the gas block, and the handguard or gas tube. The handguard is going to be, for this build, we're going to go with the AK100 series foregrip, which you can get for like 1,400 rubles from proper level 1, and it's going to give you +5 ergo. And then also for this build, for the foregrip, we are going to attach the Zenit RK0. Now, this is a nice in between for the price versus going with the RK1 or the RK5. This is going to give you +4 ergo and -3 recoil. In my opinion, for the budget build, this is going to be the best for your dollar or for your ruble. So that's going to be it for the very first build. That should put you right around 60 to 62,000 rubles, which is so cheap. You guys could use this for throwaway quests. You guys could use this if you're trying to save money, if you're trying to receive money, right? Make your profit margins even higher. And ultimately, the 7.6239 AKM is just an amazing weapon. I promise you, people have been sleeping on this weapon. The BP and PS are both great choices, and for value per round, they just shred armor. You guys definitely want to check this out as an option that you might even want to run dorms or resort with, depending on how you make it. You can also make different versions of it, which we'll go over. So that's going to run about that price. And let's look at the stat differences. So we started at 38 ergonomics, and we ended up at 49 ergonomics. Then we started at 116 vertical recoil, and we got it all the way down to 87 vertical recoil. Now, 87 vertical recoil on an AKM for a budget build is actually really good. You guys should look up some of the lowest stats you can get, and 87 is pretty good. We're actually going to get better. I'm going to show you how to switch up for an extra 30,000 rubles and make this gun even better. So we're going to go with a $93,000 build, and that is what I call the budget beast. Now, that build is going to look at just switching up a couple things, and I'm going to tell you why we're going to switch them up. So the first thing we're going to switch up is going to be the compensator. We're going to switch out the Dynacomp for the Venom Antidote. And the reason why we're going to switch this out, so the Venom Antidote runs at about $11,000 from skier level 3, but it gives you enough increase in stats where it's actually worth the little bit of rubles you're paying. That's going to give you -10 for the recoil versus the -8, and it's going to give you +2% on the accuracy, and it's only going to give you -1 on the ergo versus -2 on the ergo. So let's go ahead and switch that out and see what happens. We're going to grab this, we're going to move it, and we're going to grab this and put it there, and we're going to leave this here. The next thing we're going to go over is the handguard. So we were using the AK100 series foregrip. We are going to switch that, and we're going to switch the foregrip at the same time. So I leave them attached so it's easier to switch. We are going to go with the B10M foregrip, which is one of my favorite. It's a little bit pricey for budget builds, but it's worth it in my opinion if you're going this route. And that's going to give you -2% on the recoil and +9 on the ergo. So look at the difference on this B10 versus the AK100. Now, I want to say something real quick. The AK100 series is still a good foregrip because you can put a foregrip on it, and you can put, right here, you can put a flashlight or you can put a laser. It makes it very cheap and easy to use. This is going to have more slots, so you can run things on either side. You can run something on the bottom, and you can even run a sight on it depending on how you build. I don't like putting sights on that far up on my weapon, but you totally could do it if you need to. So even though this is going to run about 15,000 rubles for skier level 3, this is something that's worth it for the amount of slots depending on what you want to do, and it gives you way more ergo and less recoil, making your weapon a good amount better. Then we're going to run the RK1 instead of the RK0. Now the RK0 is going to give you the -3 and +4. This is going to give us the -4 recoil and +3 ergo. So it switches the stats a little bit, but remember I said in the beginning, for an AKM automatic build, we're going to want to go for lowest vertical recoil possible, making the RK1 a better choice for this weapon build. So now we're just going to go ahead and switch these parts. I'm going to just pull it off right here. and I'm gonna slap this one on right here, and that's it. This is the budget beast, guys. I'm telling you, this is the build you want to go for, and this is about 90 to 93,000 rubles. That's still under 100K. That's huge for what you're getting. And look at the differences. We got this all the way down to 78 vertical recoil, which you would consider like numbers wise. On the lower end would be 70 and lower, and then 50 is like crazy low vertical recoil. But for an AKM, this is really good, 78. And then we're gonna up it all the way to 53 ergo. So we're still going for like that medium to high ergo and then getting the vertical really low. So this is definitely gonna be the build that you guys are gonna wanna do if you have the little bit of extra money. Well, guys, that pretty much wraps up this build guide. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. If you guys want to know more about ergonomics and recoil, I actually just put out a video on YouTube you could find right here, and I'll also link it down in the description so you guys can check that out as well and understand the numbers a little bit more and why you want what. Also, if you guys want any certain builds for a weapon that you like, let me know. I could do budget builds, intermediate builds. We can even get into some prestigious builds down the road, but let me know down in the comments, guys. I respond to every single comment. I read every single comment, and I love to hear back from you guys. If you guys received any value from this video, please make sure you hit that like. It goes a long way for the channel. It's really good for YouTube's algorithms and pushing my videos higher. It helps me out. And then also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you guys want to see more content like this. And then you guys could always hit the little bell if you want to be notified when videos go live, so you don't miss an upload. Hope to catch you guys on the live stream sometime. I know it'll be a lot of fun. I hope you guys are very blessed. I hope you have an amazing day or night, depending on where you're at in the world. I hope your raids are plentiful, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace. They were straight crapping on us, dude. They were rubbing it in our hair. They were pooping and rubbing it in our hair. It was really bad. And then it's in your hair. So you're running around and it just constantly stinks. And you're like, dude, what is that? Do you guys smell that? Oh.